Guys, wow, it's been 2 weeks since they were crowned Binibining Pilipinas title holders, and up until now, we still could not get enough of their wins. So, for this rainy Thursday afternoon, I am so blessed to be given a chance by Binibining Pilipinas Charities Incorporated to interview them as they relive their crowning moment and discuss their plans for their upcoming international competitions. So without further ado, here they are. Please say hello to Binibining Pilipinas Intercontinental 2021, Cindy OBENITA. Hi, Cindy.
Hi everyone! Hi Adam! And to everyone tuning in, maayong hapon! Hapon na ba? Yeah,
Hapon
maayong
na.
hapon sa inyong tanan, especially to my kababayans in Cagayan de Oro and Misamis Oriental.
Hello po sa inyong lahat. And last but not the least is the newly crowned Binibining Pilipinas International 2021, Hannah Arnold! Hi,
Everyone. Thank you for having us, Kuya Adam. And apologies to the viewers. My neighbor is doing some construction, so maybe you can hear it. So I'll try mute when I'm not talking. But hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you again, Kuya Adam.
No worries. I also feel you. Ganyan din ako. Like, I'm also interviewing you both here in my office. So forgive me for all the noises that you'll be here later on. But enough of our poor Wi-Fi connection. But thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview. Grabe, guys. It's been what? Almost 2 weeks
Yeah.
since you both got crowned Binibining Pilipinas International and Binibining Pilipinas Intercontinental. How have you been? Has it already sunk in 2 weeks after winning the top titles in Binibining Pilipinas?
Well, honestly, Adam, we're still overwhelmed talaga. For me, I'm still in awe of what just happened, and I really have nothing but gratitude to everyone who supported me, who rallied behind me. So, daghan kayong salamat. You made this dream possible.
Yes. What about you, Hannah?
Sorry. Sorry, I just missed that. Oh my gosh. Sorry, the Wi-Fi. Sorry, what was the question?
How have you been? Has it already sunk in yet?
Yes, so the day that we had our official photo shoot with Sarah Raymond and we were wearing our crowns and we had the group photo together, that's when I looked around and realized, oh my gosh, we are the queens for 2021. And yeah, since then it's been moving too fast actually. I really need to maybe have a diary and write down how I'm feeling every day like that.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice to hear. Ang ganda ng photo shoot niyo with Sir Raymond, ah. Talagang you all look like fairy tale princesses in those
Totoo.
fluffy gowns. Will we be seeing more
Yeah.
of it in the next few weeks? Marami kayong photo shoots na
Yes!
baon.
May pasabog.
Oh my God, I can't wait. So, true. So we all know naman that that you guys no doubt trained for almost 2 years during the competition. Do you think the longer time or the longer break help you prepare for this competition? Hannah.
Hmm. Um, Sometimes I think it was a positive, and other times I think it might have been a negative because for a few months there was time where I wasn't really disciplined, so I was really eating so much, and I became a little like lazy with wanting to send in my passerella videos and things, and I was kind of thinking, when will the pageant be like that? So I kind of gave up for a moment. But then, yes, when we did have the extra few months this year, when it was pushed back from March to April to July, actually, it was a blessing because we also had the lockdowns. So when everything eased, we were able to go back to the face-to-face trainings and have more photo shoots and everything. So it kind of worked out to be a blessing for me, but I'm not sure about for the other girls.
Yeah, no, I can see that because you went back to Australia to be with your family. No, it was a perfect
Yes,
excuse for you to reunite with them, right?
yes.
What about you, Cindy?
Yeah, I think Adam, I really feel for the girls who are definitely affected by the pandemic, especially in our participation with Binibini because there are financial struggles, emotional struggles. But on my part, during those breaks, the postponement, I was immersing myself in the community because I am a government employee. So we've been assisting LSIs and OFW. So during those breaks, during those times of our when we have nothing to do with Binibini, I think it's also an opportunity for me to really work on my advocacy to really help the community. So para siyang maging ano rin, blessing in disguise na rin because I was able to see the bigger picture.
Yeah, ang
Yeah.
ganda nun parang you were able to strengthen your advocacy.
Totoo, di
So
ba?
so that
Oo.
when the pageant resumed, you have more baon stories to tell everyone.
True.
'Di ba? Mas may hugot, 'di ba? Sabi nga nila. Wait, before we proceed, can we give a shout out to all the 14 viewers who are watching us right now? Ken, Vincent, Lorena are saying hi, is saying go Queens. Aaron Villaduca is also saying hi. Tintin Tiempo, my my pageant admin here is also saying hi. Leo Leo De
Billion.
Leon is also saying rainy afternoon, Hannah and Cindy. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hello. Keep safe, guys.
Yeah,
Hi.
so as you talk about the challenges, your struggles during the long break, I'm curious to ask, saan kayo humuhugot ng lakas ng loob para mag-push through? Kasi hindi biro talaga yung nangyari sa atin, di ba? Kayo lang yung batch na talagang nagkaroon ng long break talaga. Na parang you were Binibining Pilipinas candidate for 2 years, and some of you guys even had spent your birthdays twice as Binibining Pilipinas candidate. So was there ever a moment you felt like you wanted to quit? Yes.
So, like you said, Kuya Adam, I was in Australia during most of the pandemic because my parents are there. So, actually, the flights between Australia and the Philippines, they weren't ongoing. They were really canceled. So, there was a lot of months where I literally couldn't come back. So, I was really worried the pageant would resume and I would have to give up my candidacy. And then Binibini actually updated us earlier this year. And I was really so into my career as a sleep scientist that I was suddenly conflicted whether I would stay in my science career or come back for the pageant. And actually, I hadn't attended mass for so many months, but I attended one Sunday in February with my mom, and that day I really offered like everything to the Lord, and the priest really said, ask your question today and this week you will have your answer. So I really asked, Lord, I need a sign. Which journey am I going to take? And then 2 days later, actually, there was a flight that opened and I received my plane ticket. I had been on the wait list, and suddenly 2 days later I had the ticket. And so it was the biggest sign that I needed. It was the sign that, okay, I'm going to join the pageant, continue my journey. And then I put in my resignation to work and flew back to the Philippines a week later. So yeah, that was the best thing for me, that I have no regrets now. I always wonder, what if I had stayed and continued the science? So
Parang it's as if God really made a way for you to come back
Yeah.
here.
yes.
Kinikilabutan ako sa kwento mo, Hana. Totoo yun, talaga nag-open up yung oo nga, kasi di ba nung lockdown, we were chatting sa Instagram, na
Yes.
hirap nga talaga yung to book flights kasi nga because our government shut the entire country down. Tapos wala lang,
Yeah.
parang wow. They just
Mm-mm.
called you. Parang you didn't call them to rebook your flight. They just called you that we have a remaining slot for you, Miss Hannah Arnold.
Yes. So actually, there was a wait list that I had been on for quite some while, and it's really just a random lucky draw kind of thing that they will contact you. So it just so happened that I was at work, and my mom was the one that answered, and then they told her there's a spot. So then suddenly my mom was like, okay, confirming it. And then when I was done at work that day, my mom was like, you have your ticket now. So
Oh, that's nice. You
it
still have
was
the blessings of your parents. for this? Kasi
Yes.
sasabihin nila,
Yes po.
usually a normal parent would tell girls like, ay nako, wag ka na mag-pageant, mag-ipon ka na kasi considering that, pageantry is for you girls is very expensive. Pero ikaw, how is it important that you have a supportive set of parents for here in Binibining Pilipinas?
Oh my gosh. Super, super. It really, I don't even know how to explain it, but just knowing that they support your dream, especially when a lot of people doubt the relevancy of pageantry in this time, the fact that they really reminded me this is what you have wanted for so many years. Remember the why and the platform that it has. So the fact that they were so happy to see me come back, it just really made my heart so happy.
That's nice. That's nice to hear. What about you, Cindy? What were your struggles?
Yeah, so I going back to the question, where do I get so much strength? It would have to be my family, of course, and then my supporters and LGU Miss Or, because Adam, the last girl who represented CDO in Binibining Pilipinas was in 2015. That's Pia Words back. And eventually, yes, she won. So it was really like a collective dream of everyone, not to have a representative this year for Binibining Pilipinas. And on my part, there wasn't really a hesitation on pushing through with the candidacy because they've been very supportive of the journey. And I really want to make their dream into a reality. So that's why I work hard. I even continued on working with my advocacy and everything, training talaga for them to be proud during the coronation night. And yes, sila talaga yung naging driving factors ko for the competition. So the struggles naman, I think it would have to be the transfer. Kasi nga, coming from Mindanao, and I see here a comment from a fellow Mindanaoan. Hello, maayong udto Cindy. Hello. Yeah, so coming from Mindanao, Adam, there are really a lot of struggles with the transfer. Kasi now, we've been elevated to ECQ. Grabe talaga ang nangyari sa CDO. From nag-GCQ na kami, and then ngayon, naging ECQ naman because of the rising cases, the rising COVID cases. So, ayun, I'm still thankful na I was able to push through with the competition, and hindi ako parang nahirapan sa transfer. Thank God naman sa mga ways.
Ang sarap naman i-relive ng pageant journey mo. Kasi I'm sure there are aspiring beauty queens who might be watching this. How do you think is the support of an LGU important to a candidacy like yours?
It's
Iba eh.
very important. Totoo yan, Adam. It's very important because you need to have with you a strong core team. And sila talaga yung naging team ko for financial support, for emotional support, for mental support. Kasi nga, di ba, it's really hard competing here in Manila if you don't have enough resources. Kasi you need to pay for your condo, you need to pay for your mobility para sa mga Grab expenses and all. And also you need to pay for your food. Ayan, Grab na naman. Oo, kaya ang hirap, Adam, ang hirap, but I am so thankful na I have with me very supportive people, agencies. Parang there is unity in Cagayan de Oro, knowing na iba-iba yung mga businesses, there are conflict of interest. And talagang, I'm so thankful kasi naging united sila to help.
Iba talaga no kapag may backing ka talaga ng ano mo. Naranasan ko yun eh. Naranasan ko daw eh. Hindi, naranasan kong sumama. Kasi I recently joined another candidate from another national competition asking for support from the city of Mayor. Talagang nakita ko talaga yung pag-lobby. Like talagang, is it okay? Talagang iba talaga yung kapag you're running your candidacy na talagang with your whole
Really,
team, the whole town supporting you, wala ka nang poproblemahin, logistics, lahat ng pwede mong gamiting sites for your video interview, especially ngayon, pandemic, di ba? So, iba talaga, no? So,
True.
Wow,
Shout
so
out,
talagang
shout out sa governor namin, Governor Bambi Emano and Attorney Jeff. Thank you if you're watching. Thank you.
I hope to meet them soon. So let's now go back. So let's now go to the finals night of Binibining Pilipinas. Can you both take me back to that finals night nung natandaan nyo, nung nakita nyo talaga, di ba, hindi kami nakanood. Para ako nanonood ng dress rehearsals, that audience was very limited to only a few family members and even some members of the press. So, had there been a crowd, I want to ask, would have that added more pressure to you both? Hannah.
Um, Actually, it's a bit hard to say, really. For me, I felt like I could still feel that there was an audience because really the people that were there, they were so loud. Actually, you would think that it was still really full. Even the retouchers on the side, the 5 family members per girl, they were really loud. So it didn't really feel that different. But I think definitely when you're performing and the crowd cheers, you know that you did well. So there were times where it was really quiet. So when I would go off stage, I was like, oh my gosh, was it okay or not? So they definitely do have that power to make you think confidently or differently when you're performing. But I still really felt that there was a great sense of community there that night.
Sayang wala ako. What about you, Cindy?
Yeah, same with Hannah Adam. There wasn't such a difference. Kasi parang naging full pack na rin yung Araneta that time because the crowd was so responsive, they were so reactive, and grabe yung cheers nila. And I think that's one of the things that we really look forward to during that night. Yung talagang sigawan. Kasi mas mafe-feel mo na nasa Araneta ka if may mga sigawan and then the support of the people. Yan talaga. I don't see any difference.
That's very interesting to hear. Akala ko kasi parang kayo-kayo na lang yung nagchichiran sa isa't isa kasi ang tahimik na parang dress rehearsal ang dating. But wow, parang you also felt the same way as compared kapag meron talagang crowd
True.
talaga cheering for you. So, I'm curious to ask this rin. What was the backstage experience like for you both? Were you guys giving each other pep talk to one another, or were you all praying na sana, you might win, mairaos to ng maayos? What were those things that going through your head when you were in the backstage?
Well, for those that don't know, in 2019, actually, all the candidates were just in one room because we got ready there. However, this year with protocols, we were separated into 3 different change rooms. So, candidates 1 to 12 were in one, and then 13 to 24, and then the last batch in another room. So, we were quite distance from each other, but we were still able to go outside of the room and bond with each other if we wanted to. But in my room, I think all of us kind of used the opportunity to have a nap. Um, so we actually had a really early call time on the day of coronation because we had to go have breakfast, have a swab test, and then go get your hair and makeup done by your own teams, and then to go have rehearsals. So it was a really long day. So actually, in the change room, I really slept. I really wanted to make sure I had energy for the opening number and everything. But then when I woke up, I suddenly realized, oh my gosh, this is it. And then I just started going through my Q&A book and kind of freaking out a little. But like you said, I did do some prayer. I just prayed and said, again, this is up to you, God. I will accept it if I, don't have a crown this year like that. But yeah, I really napped for most of the day.
Oh, girls, alam nyo na ang gagawin nyo, ha? Take it from Hannah. Sleep as much as you can in between. Diba? So, what about you, Cindy?
Yeah, so as Hannah mentioned earlier, we were divided into 3 rooms. And in our room, the girls were very, very busy tanning, curling, retouching, and then um, yeah, and then for me, I was busy doing FaceTime, video calling my mentor to throw me some last minute questions. So talagang even though we're like an hour away from the pageant night itself, I mean from the show itself, talagang sinabi ko na, okay, give me some more questions. Sir, go, ano pa, ano pa, ano pa. Like talagang I didn't stop, I mean, doing the Q&A hanggang tinawag na kami ng parang mga stage manager na, okay, kayo na, punta na kayo dito. And sinabi ko nga, can I bring my phone? Can I bring my phone? And then sila, no, no, no phones, no phones. And then I was like, okay, nung sinabi ko sa coach ko, okay, just call me na lang if ever ano yung performance ko right after the Q&A, okay? Hindi na ako mag-phone, wala na akong gagawin, just update me na lang. So, ayun talaga. And I was like, immediately right after the Q&A, I rushed to the our room 1, parang room 1 kami. And then I looked for my phone, and then I was like, how was it? How was my answer? Grabe talaga yung mga nangyari. And then imagine, Adam, ha, for the quick change, kasi we were only given 5 minutes to change. And then, yeah, and then the distance from stage to dressing room, it's like a 10-minute, I mean, a 10-second run away from the backstage to the dressing room. Nakaya namin yun ng mga 2 seconds. Ganon kami kabilis para kaming mga athletes.
Yung adrenaline rush feeling ko ang nagpaano sa inyo doon.
Totoo. With heels on, ha?
Oh my God. So, iba talaga, no? Ako,
Diba?
grabe. Pero no doubt, no, in those moments that you were given a chance to talk about your candidacy, I noticed that you both have always been espousing your advocacies to the limelight. I mean, ikaw, si Hannah, children's education, then si Cindy about prevention of cancer, cervical cancer. Does this come from personal experience?
Yes, so for me, as an advocate for education, this really started from a young age because, as many people know, I grew up in Australia, so I was very blessed with the access to schooling and everything. It wasn't a struggle. However, my mom, when I was old enough to understand, she explained the struggles that her and her siblings went through, the distances they had to walk, the difficulty to get school supplies. They would have to share their utensils. And really, every year when I would visit Masbate, we would go past the communities that, you could really see the students were struggling. So, uh, while I was still studying, my parents would always ask my ate and I to gather some things that we can donate, and we would always send a balakbayan box. So we just wouldn't publicly share it, but relatives and people in Masbate would receive it. And then for my 18th birthday, I had that here. I had a debut, and then although I had the big celebration, my parents also told me I should give back. So we went and visited an orphanage. And that's also, again, when I realized while I'm here, I should really do more for these children. And that's why I really wanted to push for it. I know people say, oh, again, another advocacy for education. But doesn't that mean that it means that we really need help still? It's not like some people say that, oh, I'm just trying to copy other queens from previous years, but it just really means that we see the need for it, that there's still so much more to be done. And just like Cindy said, during the pandemic, she was able to focus more on it. I actually also started a social media page called Books of Tomorrow PH, because the quote that I have been saying for so long is, with a book, a child will learn to read today, and with a pencil, they'll write their own future tomorrow. So I really incorporated that. So it's Books of Tomorrow, because I really do believe that the power of education will help the children choose their own futures and careers tomorrow. So I really hope that with this platform, I'm able to get more sponsors and hear from more communities that need help. I haven't had time this week yet, but so many more people have started following the page and have asked how they can donate. So I think I'll need to get more people involved in the team.
That's nice. Wow. Yan ang goal mo pala for your, as you go through your reign talaga, maximize your Binibining platform for your advocacy. Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, there is still a lot of work to be done talaga when it comes to providing quality education among our youth talaga. And yeah, to Cindy.
Yeah, so just like Hannah Adam, it's also a very personal advocacy because I lost three of my loved ones due to cancer. And why cervical cancer? Because cervical cancer is top two killer here in the Philippines among women. And I think during this pandemic, the issues on cervical cancer has been intensified because our attention has been put to COVID-19. And we know that cervical cancer does not stop in the middle of a pandemic. So right now, I am actually working with NGOs and some other agencies to really look for a cervical cancer vaccine so that they could sponsor, they could give it for free. And I am actually the founder of Crown CDO. It is a cervical cancer prevention and awareness circle. It is in partnership with MOCME. It is Misamis Oriental Physician Nurses Foundation Incorporated. So we've been partnering up together to elevate awareness, to elevate conversation on cervical cancer, and really engage more women, even men, and some others in the conversation of health and well-being. Kasi nga, di ba, if you're a husband and you are able to listen to discussions like this, of course, masasabihan mo asawa mo na, okay, I think it's very important for you also to get vaccinated. Kaya ngayon, I'm just very happy right now, Adam, that the Office of Senator Grace Poe has been very responsive to our request, and hopefully, no, they could donate cervical cancer na mga treatments, no, and some other vaccines. So we're hoping na we could use the BBP platform to really engage more NGOs and even government organizations to help these struggling women.
Iba talaga yung platform ng Binibini, no? In
Totoo.
amplifying your advocacies, no? Talagang lahat sila ano talaga sa inyo eh, napapatingin sa, napapapay attention nyo sa mga, hindi lang sa advocacies nyo, or any issue that are closest to your heart.
Totoo.
Diba?
Very
Iba-iba.
powerful ang platform. Kaya I think for the girls, we really need to make use of our titles, talagang pahalagahan, no? Because andito na tayo, and the best thing and the best way that we can do is to really reach out. Reach out na lang eh, kasi andyan na yung title mo, andyan ka na. And what more these organizations can do is to really partner with you.
True. So kasama ba doon ang Grab? Kasi tanong ni tanong ni Wilson Castro for Cindy, by any chance nag-reach out na ba ang Grab? Nag-reach out ka na ba sa Grab for you to be their potential ambassador?
Actually, yes. Nag-reach out sila. And then
Ano sabi?
Oo, tapos they sent me a very sweet message thanking them for patronizing Grab, and then also they are to send, I think, gift. Parang may gift silang ipapadala. So, ayan. Asa na ba?
Naiinip na si Cindy, Grab Philippines. Ang tagal
Baka
nyo.
na-traffic, Adam. Baka na-traffic sa EDSA.
Alam mo bentang-benta talaga yung Grab and paandar mo lahat kami napapasakay mo talaga. Hindi lang literally but figuratively. So, now that we're heading to the light portion of our interview, now let's talk about your aesthetic naman. I noticed that most of the girls during your batch weren't really plakado in compared to the previous batches. Mas ngayon napansin ko mas soft na yung glam ninyo this time around. Was it because Miss International is the top crown starting this year? May effort ba kayong gano'n? Meron ba kayong conscious effort na gawin to na mas softer yung glam nyo, mas ang babango ninyo, ang ki-clean ninyo, ang fresh ninyo in terms of styling? Hannah?
So I think the main difference being that in previous years, David Salon was our sponsor. So each girl really had to work with the makeup artists that were there, and we only worked with them for maybe 3 photo shoots prior to coronation. However, for this year, Sir Hinez, BPCI, they really allowed us to have our own glam team. So I think that's why you could really see each of us looked, our best that night. Of course, thank you to the previous makeup artists we've had, but having your own team, they know exactly what features to make stand out. And just like you said, yes, in previous years, obviously many girls were aiming for Miss Universe. However, this year you could see the difference. There were the girls that were super sexy going for MGI, and then yes, you could see the girls that were aiming for Miss International. I'm not sure if it was really a conscious effort or it just how the girls felt most comfortable. So for me, I personally really wanted to wear my favorite color, have a light type of makeup to really just show me and my personality. So yeah, thank you to my glam team, Jesse, Sir Patrick, Jonas. Thank you.
Galing nila, ang galing nila. They transform you to become a formidable contender for Binibining Pilipinas last edition. What about you, Cindy?
I think when you join any beauty pageants, you really need to understand no, the mechanics. And in my part, kasi I'm not really aiming for a specific crown. I'm yeah, I'm good with any crowns. My eyes weren't glued to just one crown, but I said to myself na any crown would be would any crown that would be given to me, it would definitely be an honor for me and my city and my province. And I think yes, hindi medyo plakado because still we need to pattern it after the Miss International prototype. We need to respect the highest crown, which is MI. And also there were girls who were really vocal with what crown they want. You can see it with their posts. That I mean, even during the interviews, they said na they're really after of the MGI crown. That's why yung mga photo shoots nila parang bolder, di ba? Pansin naman natin na merong girls na ganon. And then, during the process, siguro it's more on, I think it's elevating yourself and strengthening your strengths. Strengthening, yeah, your strength. So for Hannah, yeah, like alam naman natin na Hannah talaga is MI prototype. So ayun, kaya you need to work well on what suits you best. And for me naman, alam ko na I'm not an MI prototype. Yes, tanggap ko. But I can be any of those 3 other crowns. So, ayun, I think it all boils down talaga to training and packaging yourself.
True. I agree, no? True. Iba talaga yung... Pero
Alam mo,
ikaw,
yeah.
pero ikaw naramdaman kong international yung tina-target mo. Kasi yung mga photos na ina-upload mo, sabi ko, ang soft, yung mga tingin mo sa taas, yung mga ganun-ganun mo, sabi ko, international siya. Pero nagigets ko naman. So, I asked this question, pwede ba, kasi we've been telling you guys, di ba, style yourselves on the crown that you want to achieve. Pero pwede ba yun na you can go sexy, tapos you went sexy during the finals night, pero you're still aiming for Miss International? Or can you, or the reverse, pwede rin na parang you can go soft, but you were aiming pala for MGI. Pwede bang mag-work yung ganung formula?
I think yes. Kasi on the coronation night, it all boils down to destiny. Alam mo yun? Yung parang, ginawa na natin lahat. So, we live it up to the judges, we live it up to the Almighty to decide for our future. So, yeah, for me naman, I think me and my team, we've been very flexible. We want to showcase the soft side, the bolder side, and I think it worked. It worked during the coronation.
Alright, true. So, let's now go to the top 13 moment. What was going through your minds when that moment was coming by? Were you counting on girls na, alam mo yon, that are still remaining na matatawag? Or was it like, sige na, tawagin mo na ako? May mga feeling ba kayong ganon? Hannah, you go first.
Definitely. I was quite worried because in 2019, I was actually the second girl to be called. So back then, I was like, oh, I didn't really have that stress or nerves. But this time, I was, I think, the 11th girl. So really, when every girl was getting called, actually, even before that moment, a few days before, I was really always staring at the girls at breakfast, counting, and I'm like, oh my god, there's so many of them. Will I make it into the top? Like, honestly, these girls have beautiful personalities, beautiful stories. They perform so well in our other activities. So I really was doubting if I was going to make it to the top. So on coronation night, there were so many girls around me that I was also pretending their number is gonna be called next. And then, so honestly, I was really shocked when mine was called. And then I was thinking, oh my gosh, there's only like 2 more spots. There's so many girls behind me. So I really feel for those girls that weren't able to show their swimsuit, evening gown, and have the microphone, because I'm sure they would have grabbed the crowns if they were given that opportunity also.
What about you, Cindy? Did you expect ba na mananalo ka ng fan vote?
Honestly, Adam. Oo,
Ako may idea na ako.
Ako rin. The night before the pageant, talagang tutok na tutok ako and yung team ko sa ranking for wild card. Because kasi nga, di ba, it was very obvious. It was between me and Bea, Bulacan.
Oo.
So parang, ganon. And then, I think an hour before they closed the voting lines, talagang kami, oh my God, dapat we should seal it. We should seal the deal. And then we were like, okay, ayun na nga, talagang nag-top 13 na tayo, guys. Congrats. And then we were like celebrating kahit hindi pa nga announced. So, during the coronation night, I already expected to be part of the top 13. Pero yung only worry ko, Adam, was that baka mag-iba isip ni BPCI. Baka sabihin ni Catriona na wala na pala tayong wild card.
Wala na tayong, sorry.
Wala na pala tayong wild card. Tanggalin na lang natin ang wild card. So that's my only worry. Kasi baka sabihin na, okay, hanggang top 12 na lang. Hindi na, we will just give sash for the wild card. Yung ganon, yung mga ganon na eksena. So nung talagang, during the rehearsals, and talagang sikat, parang may steal siya na this doesn't, parang it doesn't end here, parang ganon, because we still have one more. So I was like, okay, relieved, parang nakahinga lahat ng Cagayan ng San Luis noon. So when I was called,
may question ako doon. Curious ako, paano mo nalaman before the show na ikaw na yung mananalo? Like talagang, how are you keeping tabs of your neck-to-neck battle with Bianca?
From time to time, Adam, I really check the app. Kasi nakikita naman yung number of votes. Oo.
I didn't know about
it. Yes, nakikita kung na ang lamang, ganon. Yung, like, very transparent yung votes.
So,
and then they even announce when is the time they're gonna close the voting line. So talagang kami, okay, wala na. We've made it.
Alright, so let's move on from that moment. So punta na tayo sa swim, evening gown, tsaka doon sa speech nyo. Siyempre, may speech, may swim, evening gown, and then Q&A. Napansin nyo, it went all so fast na parang I feel like you guys weren't able to breathe and really didn't really have the time to really regroup yourself. So, which part were you not looking forward to? May naranasan ba kayong ganung feeling as you were coasting from one segment to another during the finals night?
For me, Kuya Adam, it was really just before the Q&A segment that I started feeling so nervous, because the swimsuit and evening gown went so quickly, and because we had enjoyed it so much during the rehearsals, and the music that they chose was just so fun, and it just made you feel like you weren't really in a competition. I enjoyed those segments, but just before the Q&A, when the first six went out, I really felt so nervous and sick. I was yelling to Kuya JR, one of the black boys backstage. I was like, Kuya JR, I need water. Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna pass out. Like, I was so nervous. So that's when I was so worried for when it was my turn. I was thinking, what if I faint on stage or something like that? I mean, I wasn't nervous for how I was going to answer because I was quite confident with my trainings, but I was just nervous that the night had gone so quickly that I hadn't had a chance to sit down and breathe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pero at least you still had the presence of mind talaga to calm down and ask for, I mean, and ask for water at the same time to really make you feel a little bit better. Kasi ang bilis talaga. I mean,
Mhm.
one commercial break after the other, ang bilis ng puto. Like, this is the fastest pacing I've seen of Binibining Pilipinas in recent years. Sobrang bilis talaga. 'Di ba?
Yes. Oh my
What
gosh.
about,
I think
yeah?
when you interview Sam, I think she'll tell you her story that she couldn't find her heels before the evening gown, like just 2 seconds before they
Yes,
found
and
it.
Maureen, dibahan? Maureen
Oh
also was
yes.
looking for her gown.
Oh my
Totoo, ang
god.
daming ganap backstage. Totoo.
So iba yung shoes nyo for the swim, iba rin yung shoes nyo
Yeah.
for the evening gown.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, all right. So there's a question here, Hannah, for you from
Yeah.
Wilson Castro. Since you mentioned already your gown, na you almost passed out. what went through what went with the thought process of planning your gown reveal moment?
Ooh, so for those who like have been following my journey since 2019, I have been modeling with Sarah Leo Amadal since 2019, and what we really love about his gowns is the ones that are quite tight, figure hugging. They really make me feel so confident to show off my hips. But then there's also the other gowns where it's like a ball gown. I really feel like a princess. So we actually couldn't really decide which which design we wanted. So that's why we mixed it together. And I'm so grateful also that the production team let us share a story while we were walking. So I'm not sure if people heard what I said, but I really have always loved pink, so I always wear it throughout my life. So with that reveal moment, I wanted it to represent how I've grown from a younger girl into that confident woman. Although a lot of people are asking and saying that I didn't really execute it quite well. Actually, sayang, because I was so nervous backstage. I was playing with the skirt that the Velcro shifted so much. I couldn't find it when I was supposed to take it off. That's why I had to look down and look for it. But really, in my rehearsals, it was a lot more of a surprise. But yeah, really on coronation night, I had to look down to look for it. But I'm still so happy that people appreciated it.
Yeah, kasi feeling namin talaga nag-perform ka talaga. Like talagang, lalo na when you flipped it, talagang, si Hannah, nag-perform. It made us all, kasi I thought talaga parang, oh my God, why is she wearing that princessy, flowy gown? Sim pala, meron ka palang pa-reveal. Di ba? We should have known better. So what about you? What about you, Cindy? What's your inspiration? Was your peg for that night Cinderella? Was Cinderella your peg during that night, literally? Kasi talaga from the color, from that moment of that time of the announcement of of your crowning moment, talagang Cinderella. What was your inspiration behind it?
uh, I really entrust everything to Mama Rene, Adam. And nung sinabi niya, I didn't even tell her the Cinderella story. I think it was in 2019 when we decided about the gown. Oo. Tapos, nung sinabi ni Mama na, you will be wearing color blue. And I was like, talaga, Mama? Do you know that my real name is Cinderella? Parang ganon. Kasi hindi pa kami ganon ka-close ni Mama. Alam niya lang is Cindy. Cindy yung name ko, but not
Oo.
Cinderella. Pero sinabi niya, you will be wearing color blue. And I was like, grabe talagang destiny, no? And from then on, we started working with the shape and the pattern of the gown and even the details of the gown, talagang there is collaboration. And then also, for the coronation night, I think yung parang yung sa likod, the cape, I think yun talaga yung nagdala ng Cinderella story. And part talaga yun sa in-envision ni Mama Rene.
Hindi lang siya basta blue pero talagang it was feeling ko pattern talaga with how the blue of the blue gown of Cinderella kasi it could have been royal blue, sky blue, or darker blue. Pero wow, talagang yeah.
Parang coincidence talaga ang lahat. Hindi ganon na super planned. Parang hinayaan lang namin. Tadhana, okay, decide.
Yes.
But also, Kuya Adam, can I add? I'm actually not sure if the camera captured your opening pose, Cindy, but it was so powerful. During our mock pageant for Aces and Queens, I saw Cindy's opening pose, but I think sayang the camera didn't capture
no?
it.
Kasi parang I walked kahit hindi pa tapos yung VO.
Yes, me too.
Guilty, hi! Hi, Beth!
So, anong lesson doon?
Makinig.
Wait. Wait,